Hello the channel, welcome back. Game week 429 on Sorare. Another weekend coming up. Thank God. I had a good time in the midweek or last weekend, so there we go. I'm on the Hoops FC. We need a result from the Hoops. So what we're going to do tonight is have a look at the XG stuff, spreadsheet stuff. Then we're going to have a look at the Celtic predicted team. Then we're going to have a look at some lineups. So one thing to point out here is, given it's been a sort of more difficult spell, I've actually spent a lot more time than normal on my lineups. So I've actually built all of them already, but we'll have a discussion and we'll go through those, and you'll hopefully see why picked those as well. So first thing to have a look at here, in terms of team values, etc. So some good fixtures for some of the big teams this weekend. Looks like Jude Bellingham fest again. Just another 100. What a player. Hate to say that as a true Scotsman, but world class. So Bayern Munich, good home game. Union Berlin are really, really leaky. I knew that anyway because I've got Ronald, and can't remember the last time he actually kept a clean sheet. Bayern were a bit poor against Copenhagen, but they were through it. So Real Madrid, Molde aren't really licensed, or Bodo. Sporting, interesting one for people if you've got some sporting cards. Leipzig, Fenerbahce, obviously pretty relevant. For me, a few Fenerbahce players. Liverpool, so expected to score 2.58 team goals, high win percentage. Quite a reasonable clean sheet percentage as well. Just a shame Alisson injured too. So see how Kelleher does. See how game goes tonight. Celtic, I'm going to mention Celtic a few times. Man City at home as well. Spurs on quite a poor run of form there too. Galatasaray, guys like Icardi sort of sticking out there too. So those are the sort of top teams. Have a wee look down to see for a wee bit of bit too far. Club Brugge, reasonable fixture for them. Leverkusen actually, so maybe not much chance of a clean sheet, but you'd expect them actually to get a result against Dortmund at home, so that's going to be interesting. Arsenal, maybe a wee bit further down than I expected actually. I would have them further up just based on, midweek performance are absolutely flying, so that's one thing the data doesn't just show you, they are absolutely flying obviously, Arsenal after that result, and Wolves are a wee bit of a downer at the moment. Now, in terms of this section with projected scores, etc., I've actually got this filtered to, I think it's filtered to my own players now, so I would take that back off actually. So nice to see Matt O'Reilly up the top though. Fantastic. I'll take that off just as a preview for you guys in case you notice anybody right up top of the list that you might own that obviously I don't. Bella Kotchap kind of stands out there, but he's injured, so really useful this spreadsheet from Sorare probabilities, because obviously it gives you an idea of who might be fit as well. Ardard Guler, I don't know if he's actually ready to play, although strictly speaking I think he's not injured anymore. I think he's back in training, or he's in and out anyway. Kavlaina is one that stands out as a guy I wish I actually owned. Maybe need to sort that out at some point. Seems quite a high expected score, which is nice. I'm not surprised. Really, really good player in general. Michelangelo Balikwisha, guy I've won recently, so actually I've used him in the lineup as well. And other guys up here like Adam Zargan, etc. Bellingham, as you'd expect, he'll just be on every list at the moment. Yang for Celtic actually, so features quite highly. Theo Leone, I know a few have him. Lee Kangen, bit of a resurrection there as well at PSG, looking really good recently too. So some food for thought on there. Minions, I think, Tora Tuber, whatever that means. I'm not going to make any crass jokes or anything about that. If anybody knows me, I do have some crass jokes in my locker. Anyway, I'm not going to say it. So, in terms of the players or scores, again, as we said earlier, a bit frustrating with Alisson. I'm not going to moan, but Courtois super rare, Alisson super rare, Robertson unique. all injured. Cezinha, super injured. I mean, the list goes on. So it's been a bit of a rough spell, and I know there's a lot of guys with some really high profile guys injured too. So that's pretty difficult, but there we go. So Kelleher should have a reasonable chance there as well. Trubin, quite high up there. Joe Hart, win percentage 82, clean sheet 54% nearly, so pretty high. Thomas Durso, interesting one. I think he's getting dropped for Insfran, so they've got a big sort of relegation playoff, and they're saying that Insfran's going to play, so yeah, we'll be playing Durso. Liam Scales, top of the defender list for myself. Satala, I think, is an injury risk. Carter Vickers. Virgil and Trent, obviously quite high up. You'd expect that after seeing Liverpool quite high up team-wise. Eduardo, he's probably quite a good buy at the moment, coming towards the end of the season in Japan, so you have like 2.5 months off, but you know, if you want to take the risk of holding him through the winter and transfer windows and the like, then he's a real good one, I think, to get based on scores and current value. Other interesting ones down here, Morato at Benfica seems to have been sort of cementing a place just now in terms of, well, trying to make them more solid, but they did concede 3 against Inter. Branko van den Boomen, that's a painful one. I think he's going to be back round about after the Christmas or winter break in Holland, so that'd be good to get him back. Hopefully he's not out for too long. Matt O'Reilly. Paulo Bernardo, interesting. I don't think I'll be using him. Quite a high projected score, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure he'll play or not, to be honest. He's not been playing in domestic ones. Holmes been starting, which we'll come back to in a wee minute. Tom Hay, nice high one again, so that's good. Yumbek Graham, again, very cheap at the moment. You're taking a bit of a risk holding through the winter. Abdoulaye Decore, interesting one. Pretty inexpensive player for the EPL competitions. And then forward-wise, Icardi, Balikwisha, Yang, who, you know, I think will probably start for Celtic. We'll come back to it in a minute. Dusan Tadic, Salah, no surprise there. Doku, I think, will start after not starting midweekly. Suarez, Vincent Janssen. Guys like Vincent Janssen, and who else was talking about there? Kasper Tengsted. So getting a game for Benfica. Really good players for the Caps, actually. I think good shouts for the Caps just based on a current cap cost. So coming to the Celtic lineup, Joe Hart, I mean, frustrating. Celtic played pretty well, I think, against Lazio. They controlled the tempo of the game, conceded late on. Immobile was the difference, so then no Immobile shout outs midweek. Show my allegiance to Celtic, but you know, if he scores at the weekend, we'll be back to giving him a shout out. Sound like I'm on the GBX there. Have a shout out for Big Eddie. Concrete Angels. So Greg Taylor hardly ever gets rotated. I mean, I just don't think Rodgers really likes Bernabei, and he wasn't in the Champions League squad. Centre backs, probably at some point we'll start to see a wee bit of rotation in here. Celtic do play Hibs midweek as well, so I have downgraded these chances here. Scales seems to play pretty much every game at the moment, and it's kind of natural because he's a left-footed player there too, but I wonder whether he'll be due a wee sort of rest at some point too. That's an interesting one. Carter Vickers, I've put a lower percentage, and I've got Nat Phillips in there, and Lagerbielke. Again, you know, he did rest Vickers reasonably recently and said it was a planned rest. Problem with Vickers is he played both games for USA in the international break as well. Alistair Johnson, I don't think this will be a game he'll be rotated because he missed the game before Europe. So, I don't know. I mean, it is possible, but Rodgers isn't a complete rotation fest type guy. You know, you'll see with Greg Taylor, he just, you know, played Greg Taylor in pretty much every game, played Scales in pretty much every game. Once he gets his mind set on a player, unless he thinks somebody can come in and, you know, you'll do better or whatever, you know, he doesn't mess about too much. Minimal rotation, hopefully, and that's why you've got high percentages here, because, you know, Ralston's played like one game in the last 9 or whatever, so that's why you get 90%. Cal McGregor and Matt O'Reilly, same sort of lines there. This position, Home, Bernardo and Turnbull, so people are going to be saying, oh, Turnbull, he's always scoring in Scotland and everything, but yeah, Home started the last 2 games. I don't know who's going to start in that position. If you want to pick any of these guys, you're taking a risk. You know, Apart from Bernardo, Holman and Turnbull have both got minutes in the last games. So there we go. Luis Palma back, was suspended midweek, so he'll almost definitely play. Furuhashi, interesting one. You know, I think when O came on in Lazio caused them some problems, but Furuhashi's top scorer by a mile, so we'll see. There's a lot of games coming up, so Rodgers might choose to maybe start him from the bench in one of these games, but even if he does, then I think he comes on. And then the other position, you've got Yang, James Forrest, and Michael Johnson. Michael or Mikey Johnson probably the most lively of these players midweek, although Forrest done okay as well. So I don't know. I mean, that position is the percentage is based on how it's been going recently with Yang starting the games, and I think he'll get some game time, but we will see. So that's the predictions. Hopefully they're spot on. If anyone's running sort of stacks, etc., then I'm sure you'll know getting the sort of defenders right and everything's going to be quite important. Pretty good fixture for Celtic, hopefully a clean sheet. We'll see. So in terms of lineups, I'm just going to go through and we'll have a chat about them. We'll just highlight each lineup. Say I've already picked these. And the reason I already picked them is I want to spend a lot of time going through them. Spent a few hours on these, so hopefully they'll be looking good for people. Or well, for me especially, because I want to win stuff this weekend, but hopefully they'll be looking good. So first one, chosen to use Kelleher in here. Cap cost around about 30, so I think it's a no-brainer for a 270. Lets you go quite strong outfield-wise. Zinchenko took off at half-time midweek, just completely rested, 5-0 up. Phil Foden's been in good form. Jack Harrison's a player I like, actually. I think he's a pretty good player, reasonable cap cost. And Emblemo, everybody in the world on FPL is expecting him to bang against Luton. That's FPL though, but yeah, won him recently, and I think it's a really good fixture to use him. And bear in mind here that you get a strong captain bonus in the 270 50%. This is a Liverpool stack, so no Trent in here, but again, it's 270 comp, so Luis Diaz is the man who's bringing down the cap cost a wee bit, and also Kelleher. So usually you wouldn't get Virgil, Szoboszlai, Salah and everything all into the same team, especially if Alisson was playing, but good chance to run that, and pretty good home fixture. The other one here, so move Trent into the other fixture. Team. Team 2, Mark Flecken, again, home against Luton. Saka, excellent again midweek. The only thing is, took a couple of kicks, so it's an interesting one. The only thing I don't like these teams playing Gakpo here, so one of Diaz or Gakpo will probably start. But I think Diogo Jota's out, so they'll definitely get some game time each, I think. And Julian Alvarez is Julian Alvarez. He's been superb. Came on very lively midweek as well. Last one, Pickford. I think it's quite a good chance of a clean sheet, although Everton were pretty poor against Man United, but there we go. Tsimikas, I think he's just starting to show a bit of form. Cole Palmer on penalties. Martinelli, excellent during the week in Darwin. So a bit of a mix-up. That's not really a kind of stack, but 2 Liverpool guys in there, so pretty heavy on them, obviously. And I'll review these before I submit, but that's pretty set on those. Trubin, shame he conceded 3. He was playing pretty well up until that point with Inter game. Sugawara has just been excellent this season. Matt O'Reilly, no real surprise there to anyone. Captain. Florian Wirtz, I'm going to watch, see what's happening later. There's a rumour he had a small knock or something, so that decision there might be based on whether he's in the squad later and starts on the bench, or whether he plays. Playing hacking away, I think, in Phil Foden, so excellent form recently. Second division, yeah, it's a pretty strong team, so Mesley not high in the averages, but playing at home, and Leeds are pretty good at home, although they're not very good at keeping clean sheets. Johan Barbie on pens, defender. Dewsbury Hall was rested midweek. Fabian Rees and Vicente were recent buys, but they're really quite high up in the averages, and Fabian Rees playing at home, so his fixtures wise seems to be quite a good shout. Then we're getting into the Celtic selections. So Challenger Europe, Joe Hart, Vickers, O'Reilly captain, Furuhashi and Scales. So kind of this team's leading towards a clean sheet. If there's any rotation in the defence, I'm humped. But yeah, I think these days, to be perfectly honest, you're aiming for peak scores. You get a DMP, you get a DMP. Slight variation here with Carter Vickers and McGregor. Again, it's just a variation. Cap 220, quite interesting. So I need to squeeze in a team with a full Celtic stack. Yang's a pretty low cap cost anyway. Greg Taylor is only 50. Joe Hart's Joe Hart, conceding too late at the moment. Odin Holmes started the recent games at home, and Michael Johnson hopefully gets some time from the bench. So that's an interesting one. Have a quick look at Champion Europe, and then we'll go on to sort of rares, etc. Because I'm not really that hot on some of these other ones. So going pretty strong on Man City here. Ederson, Diaz, Rodrigo, Haaland, obviously, and Mr. Obviously himself, Harry Kane. Pretty crap midweek Kane, but yeah, I mean Union Berlin couldn't keep a clean sheet to save himself, so there we go. Quick look at the caps. So yeah, used youth, Greg Taylor. Why have I got Mass? Hang on, I have no idea why I've got Manor Solomon in here. No idea why I've got. I don't know how that happened. Let's get it changed. Must have just misclicked there. Because he's not fit, right? So glad I noticed that. Sure somebody would have pulled me up. Lex McAllister, pretty good home fixture. Doesn't really do that much in terms of goals and assists. Cockshoe, back fit now, pretty interesting. I think he'll probably play actually. I'll fire him in provisionally. It's not been as good at Benfica, but niggling injuries and all that type of stuff, and that's pretty good game for them as well. Cap 270 again, going pretty much Celtic and Rajkovic. Then we're on to the higher up levels. So All-Star Super Rare. Going for Vickers captain. She's been in really strong form. I mean, even away at Lazio, conceded a couple of late goals, but I think he was on 65-70 at one point, which is for an away game in a Europe Champions League's pretty good. Cal McGregor, O'Reilly, Touchwood don't usually get rotated. So there we go. That's the All-Star Super Rare, and I think I really like that lineup. But everybody's got to start, and then you've got to turn up, not give away stupid goals, etc. Challenger Europe Super Rare. So Olic and Vrians, I think it's a pretty good fixture away at Heracles, whatever you call it. Szymanski, captain. Seb's been absolutely brilliant. Superb this season. Furuhashi unique, and putting Turnbull in one. Just at this point. Yeah, I mean, suppose I could go maybe put Ferdi Kadioglu or something in there, so I'm not gambling as much in Turnbull, but that's what it is. I think Turnbull's well capable from bench, as you can see as well. Cap 240 Super Rare, so Diouf, pretty disappointed in him this season. Well, in Ream anyway, not enough clean sheets, but they do have some better fixtures coming up. Rostovsky just seems to always play right or centre-back, key player. Yang, talked about earlier. Eduardo Sasha, quite a good home game. And Big Lemos, Minero hopefully won't be messing about too much. They are on track for the title. Cap 270, nothing too strong. Cap 240 uniques, kind of the guys have got left over in terms of the unique, not leftovers, but the guys who are remaining uniques. This Challenger Europe Rep Plus, so again, Matt O'Reilly, captain, Furuhashi. Slightly different in here with having Alistair Johnson, so I don't have a Scales Super Rare yet anyway, so yeah, Johnson in here just to use up 2 Super Rares and max out the requirements. Challenger Europe Rare, a wee bit of a mix up, so Trubin, Scales, Tom Hay. I think it's a really good fixture against Almere City, I think they're called. Icardi again was really high up in the percentage we've seen earlier, and Dougie Santos is just a maniac. Under 23 Rare Plus, this is a team I really, really like as well, so Trubin, Sugawara has been arguably the best under 23 defender the whole season. Matt O'Reilly, arguably the best mid all season. Jeremy Doku, just Pep Roulette's a bit of a problem, but you can see him giving Spurs a roasting. And Ferdi Kadioglu, home game, really high average. Usually I play Canusa in there, but they've got Ghent, and that's quite a hard game for Genk. All-Star Rare Plus, so Pandor, Vitesse been pretty poor recently as well. Fortuna at home. Adrian Monfrey, well, guy's been averaging 70, so, you know, if people don't know him, go and check out his scores. Szymanski and Tadic, both at home, and Junior Alonso. Usually I pair him with Safanov, but he got a head injury and he's a kind of bit of a concern. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. Not going to go through all of these. Cap 270 Revs, have a quick chat about, because I've picked up a few Leicester players recently. A couple of people asking why. Well, Dewsbury Hall's been excellent. I know there's some other mids coming back, but his averages have been just outstanding. Ricardo Pereira is a player I've always sort of liked, but he seems to be coming into his own. Was a step down, but, you know, maintain some fitness. Iheanacho, I think, is a two-pronged thing. Leicester have loads of games coming up. Championship, play over Christmas, so there's games ongoing, and then he'll be going to the AFCON with Nigeria. So, yeah, I thought that just looked like quite a good buy to me. Champion Europe Rare Plus, so quite an interesting one, backing against Dortmund. Schlotterbeck, I think, got injured, so I think they've got some defensive issues. I'm not sure about Leverkusen keeping a clean sheet. Obviously, Dortmund are a good team. Take was benched midweek, so you'd expect him to start this game. And Jonas Hoffman captain. And Chris Furic, if the guy would stop missing big chances, that would be much appreciated. Yeah, Dick. Absolute Dick. Champion Europe. Again, it's a bit weird to have Ederson in here with Virgil. People say, why are you not running Kelleher and Virgil? But Ederson's got a higher cap cost than Kelleher, so, you know, for that 270 early in the EPL competition, couldn't get Ederson in and all the outfield players I wanted in, so wee bit of a mix up here, but, you know, Odegaard's pretty good midweek, and hopefully that's him sort of back to form as well. And then the last one I'll have a look at is 220 cap. I think that'll sort of do us. We're nearly in the academy anyway. So Nelson and Strand say heavily fancied to play for Gymnasia. Durso, I don't know if it's just like they're dropping him or it's just because such an important game. Well, I guess they are dropping him. That's kind of talk. So it's a shame, but good example of why you should carry a cheap backup. You know, guy gets in, still got a goalkeeper. Some people call it handcuffing. Don't want anybody getting dirty thoughts or anything about handcuffing. Liam Scales, yeah, I mean, it's good to get a really nice high average player in here. So the advantage of getting this guy who has a zero cap cost, you know, we've got a 220 team with Scales, Veerman, Tengsted and Marato in. Now, Tengsted and Marato are interesting because, you know, they've been playing pretty well recently, but they've just come into the team and there was a lot of rotation and everything before that. Tengsted's a guy who was just tearing it up at Rosenborg, so really hoping he nails down a place because I just think he's better than the other forwards that Benfica have got, and, you know, if he does hold down a place, keeps getting goals and assists and playing like he did midweek, then I don't think he'll get that place back off him. This guy who Celtic were interested at one point, and I really wish we'd have signed him. That would have been pretty awesome, but there we go. So yeah, that's what's going on. You know, not much actual going into the actual lineup building itself, but as I said, it's been a wee bit of a rough 2 game weeks. You like the irony. Sorry guys, I'm not meaning to gloat there, but yeah, last weekend was painful because loads and loads of high scores. Just every team seemed to be wrecked by something. So really focusing on building those lineups. They kind of look good. Sometimes I look at the lineups, I think I'm not really happy with them or I'm not feeling it, but kind of do feel as if I'm feeling it for this weekend. So fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm going to go now. That's good 25 minutes. We went through Play Sharper, we went through Sorare or S_probabilities egals spreadsheet, which I'm loving using. If anybody wants a free trial on that, he offers free trials. So if you go to him on Twitter, he will help you out there. And we move on to the weekend. Hope everyone's looking forward to it. Hope you all enjoy the EPL competition, and more importantly, good luck. And go fuck.